This is going to be interactive. I want questions. I want you to be engaging. We're going to share our journey a little bit with you, and our goal is to equip you for your journey, whatever that might be. So if there's ways we can help with that, that's why we're here. So raise your hand if you or your family get your health benefits from your employer. And keep your hand up if you've ever been shocked by a medical bill. Wow, that's usually all the hands stay up on that one. And now, who has put off a doctor's visit because of the cost? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, me too. So 172 million Americans get their benefits from their employer. That's half the country. The past 20 years, healthcare costs have risen from $1.2 trillion to over $4.7 trillion. That's not a good trend, is it? Employers see this, it's their number 2 expense on their P&L, and it impacts bottom lines and it impacts enterprise value. But the sad part of this is, the people that are on the health plan, the employees, and they're drowning. They're drowning because contribution rates, deductibles, and copays continue to rise. Thank you for having me at Domopalooza. It's an honor to be here. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey, our journey, and I'll share the challenges we faced, how we overcame them, and how Domo became a game changer in transforming healthcare analytics. If you're facing decisions about modernizing your platform, my hope is that our experiences will offer some valuable takeaways. So when I acquired NavMD, it was a PC, an application you install on a PC. I haven't operated a PC in 20, 30 years. So I've never even had our old platform on my system. So, obviously an application you install on a PC is outdated, inefficient, and, pretty limited on what you can do with it. We explored building a custom web-based app from scratch, and that was going to be 10 times the time, which we didn't have, and it was going to be 10 times the cost. We opted for embedding Power BI, and, our team knew it well, and we thought it was the quickest way forward. But what we realized is that, we built our first 3 platforms. Oh yeah, thanks. We built our first 3 dashboards, and what we had is unpredictable costs. So when we launched them, all of a sudden our costs spiked dramatically by having Power BI embedded in our platform. And when I asked my team, I said, hey, can you model out what this looks like for us to scale? They couldn't figure it out. So we had limited modeling and forecasting, which prevented us from understanding what the long-term cost structure was going to be. And that led to scalability concerns. And how do you build a platform without understanding exactly how it's going to scale? We needed a new path forward. So we needed a platform that could handle large data sets with speed and provide automation and user customization. Domo had everything we needed. We could build a solid data foundation. We could enrich the data with third-party data feeds. And we could create highly customizable dashboards to visualize what's going to happen and why is it going to happen, and predict what's going to happen if you do nothing, and benchmark against data sets. And then what helped NavMD shine in the marketplace was we pioneered what we call the marketplace. And that was really all the strategies and solutions that an employer could implement to build a high-performance plan and protect their business and remove cost from their plan. Last year was my very first Domopalooza. And I've been to, I think I never counted them before, but I would guess hundreds of conferences over the years. And I got to tell you, I showed up, you know, kind of thinking that, you know, I was kind of a curious skeptic, you know, but when I left, I was inspired to act. And Domo shared, you know, the roadmap for what they're delivering. And, you know, when I saw that, you know, I was still a little skeptical leaving, but I was still excited, more excited than skeptical. And I thought, how are they going to do this? How are they going to deliver all these things? And you know, I sent this like long email to my team. I'm like, let's get this rocking. Let's get this rocking. You know, and we really looked forward to seeing what App Studio and AI could deliver in our platform. So I think, you know, what we want to do now is just make this interactive. So we're going to show you our platform. And this is Ryan Wonder. He is the actual brains of the organization. And he's done an amazing job architecting our platform and delivering something really, really unique to employers across the country. So we're going to share this live demo with you. We're going to focus on what we implemented since Domopalooza last year, just a couple of the features, App Studio and AI. And if you have questions, please grab a mic and ask the question. And let's make this interactive. If you're like, hey, how do you do that? You know, Ryan's willing to share that with you. So let's make this a working session. So can you, oh, you already switched to the platform. That's awesome. Cool. So let's walk through this now. So as you can see, what we've done, you're looking at App Studio embedded in our web platform. And so our web platform only is the top bar here. So, I mean, it looks pretty clean, right? Like it looks like I had 10 web developers hammering away at code. I mean, but the cool thing about partnering with Domo on this, it's like having another development team that you don't really have to pay. So that's a good thing. So why don't you pull up?
Let me go to the overview.
Yeah, let's go to the overview. So so we initially embedded Domo everything, and we needed to. You know, the one thing we learned about embedding Domo everything is we needed to do a better job organizing everything on the left bar. It can get out of control quick. So what I hear, though, is Domo is addressing that very thing here in a future release. So I'm pretty excited to see where that's going. Also, custom content. So that was one of the selling features that I really kind of latched onto when deciding to switch from Power BI to Domo was, oh my gosh, our users are going to be able to jump in there and create their own stuff. That'll save time for him. But here's what happens. They go in there and try to build it, and the numbers don't jive. And it's because they don't really know what they're doing and they're not connecting the right data sets. So then Ryan and team have to go in there and help them fix it, or they have to rebuild it. So we're kind of working through how to deal with that. It's not a Domo thing. It's not a NavMD thing. It's really just, we got to do a better job kind of equipping people to use that stuff. So as you can see at the top, data exploration, you know, we have two tabs up there. We have analytics, which you're seeing right now, and Power Nav, which is Domo everything. Plan modeling, it has remained in our web-based stuff because users have to enter data, and we haven't found a really good way to use Domo and enter data and then have it calculate. Our marketplace, I kind of shared a little bit, and this is a demo instance. We have some other strategies and solutions that we build into this, but that's where, you know, one of the things I realized being in the fintech world before was, you know, it's great to have insights, but if you don't make them actionable and do something about them, then what's the use? So that's why we pioneered the marketplace. So let's move over to the overview. So when you look at this is a real employer based in Indianapolis, Indiana. They have about 250 employees. The average employer in America spends $12,000 to $15,000 per employee per year. They're spending $7,500 per employee per year. So that's the power of using insights to drive better cost structure, but more importantly, to protect your business. How many of you have seen the lawsuits recently with employees suing their employer? Has anybody seen that? Yes, you're saying, yeah. So JP Morgan is the most recent one. Their employees sued the company, but guess who they named in the lawsuit? People in HR, people in the board of directors. This is a fiduciary thing now. If you're an employer here in this room today and you're providing employee-sponsored benefits, you gotta make sure you're doing everything in your power to be fiduciarily responsible to your health plan, similar to what happened in 06 and 07 with 401k plans. So when you look at this, they're doing a really good job. And scroll down a little bit, Ryan. So if you look at this dashboard, the one thing that pops out to me, and I just looked at this for the first time yesterday, is that 50 to 59 age band. Wow. Now, as you get older, costs do go up, so that's normal. But if you click into that and then you go over to the cost drivers, you're going to see there's cancer. This is lymphoma. And although there's not much you can do about cancer, there are some things you can do about cancer. I would say that the one thing I'd like you to take away from this is 100 million people in America, that's 1 in 3 Americans, qualify for free or discounted care when they go to the hospital. Has anybody been to the hospital recently? No, that's good. Well, if you go to the hospital generally is not going to go, hey, guess what? We have free or discounted care over here. All you have to do is apply. They leave that part out. They just send you a bill, and if you don't pay it, they send it to collections. And then by that time, you got to figure out if you qualify for free or discounted care. So there's 2 other strategies I'd point out that are kind of easy items to look at, and that is dependent eligibility review. So 8% of the people on a plan, so in this case, it would probably be about 20 people, are probably not qualified to be on the plan as a dependent. So that right there saves 8%. And then the other strategy, I would say, can you go back to demographics? Mm-hmm. And then scroll down to the age group again, and let's see how many people.
Clear that.
Yeah, cool. And then, there we go. So, all right, there are 8 people that are 65 and older. So when you turn 65, which I'm right on the cusp of that, you qualify for Medicare. And if you move to a Medicare plan, it's actually better for everybody. So the health plan saves 90%. They can pay 100% of the Medicare cost and save 90% of the plan. And guess what? The employee who's on Medicare, their out-of-pocket cost is virtually nothing. So it's a win-win for everybody. So when I look at those strategies for this, that's what I think of. But guess what? The most influential part of the healthcare spend is pharmacy. So let's click over to, scroll up a little bit. Yeah, go to.
You want me to go to the pharmacy?
Yeah, let's go to pharmacy. And then, stay on this for just a minute. So as you can see here, that drug right there, Humira. So anybody seen the commercials? Like all those commercials? I mean, they're on all the time. It's women running in yellow outfits that are bright with flowers. And, we've all seen them. Those are expensive commercials. And guess what? Those are expensive drugs. And the key strategy for drugs like Humira, there's actually a couple of them, but the blocking and tackling one is that manufacturers provide manufacturer programs to provide those drugs for free if you qualify, which most people qualify. Unless you're a software developer in San Francisco making $175,000 a year, chances are you'll get your arthritis medication for free. But there's also what's called biosimilars. So there's about 10 of them out there now that are the same drug makeup as Humira, but they're 40% less on the cost. So that's another strategy health plans are using. And I'm sure you probably didn't know you were coming to a benefits class, but hopefully I'm kind of sharing, how we use the platform and how employers connect the dots to protect their business, remove costs from the plan, and how cool App Studio is and how clean it looks. So the other thing, once you click on specialty and mail order, the other thing that stood out here is this right here. What this tells me is that 99.4% of the members on this plan go to CVS or Walgreens to pick up their medications. And that's fine. I go to CVS and Walgreens if I'm sick and I got to get an antibiotic or a Z-Pack or something. But if I had diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis, cholesterol, a chronic condition that you buy the medication regularly, it's called a maintenance medication. There is zero reason to buy that at CVS and Walgreens. And if you tap into a mail order program on this, you'll end up saving between 30 and 40%. And the member, instead of paying a $4, $20, $30, whatever the copay is, that's gone. That copay is eliminated. So there are some real benefits to tapping in to the mail order program. So this is where we're going to get engaging. So hopefully, has anybody built anything in App Studio before? You have? All right, cool. Well, you're going to be my new friend. So, did you experience any challenges with using App Studio? And can you just give us like a little general overview of your business, what you do, and what you're measuring, and how you use App Studio? And if you don't want to do that, it's cool.
Yeah, no, it's no problem.
All right, cool.
I work for the Goodwill thrift stores.
Right on.
The corporate office for Northern California and Nevada. I used App Studio mostly the first one was for retail analytics. Some challenges. It was just the initial maybe learning curve of getting, all the styling and themes and making sure all the cards looked right according with the themes. And just designing it and working with end users to make sure that they're getting the value they need out of it.
Awesome. So what's the one thing you think you would like to see App Studio do differently?
Recently just the ability to have those subtabs that I see you guys are using, and having the filters spread across those subtabs has been awesome.
I forgot to mention that. This is a game changer right here. When they announced this at Domopalooza, the tabs and the persistent filters, oh my gosh. Seriously, our clients would be like, hey, I'm tired of going from card to card or dashboard to dashboard and having to reset those filters. It takes forever. This solves that. So all the stuff Ryan and team have built in Domo Everywhere, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Domo Everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, in the Domo instance, yeah.
In the Domo instance,
and in App Studio.
we are going to shift to apps, everything we can because of that very reason. Well, and plus it looks so much better. So yeah, that's a good point right there. So you're not using tabs today?
No, we are. I guess it was more of a recent realization that we were able to leverage it more and use those filters across those subtabs.
Yeah.
I think also a learning curve from transitioning from dashboards to App Studios is just how the end users interact with the filters, whether we want to use the controls or put filter cards, on the page, something we go back and forth between.
Yeah, we did both. That parameters deal, that's where people can set the initial filters, but then, as you click through, it kind of builds on the filters. And then you can adjust them in the right hand.
Yeah, we did. So we have brokers who are our clients, and they may have multiple employers that they broker insurance to. So we have the company and date filters, the dynamic date filters on every page. So that's better for navigation. On the tabs, though, something on the medical and pharmacy, it's kind of a replacement for some different versions of dashboards we had previously built when we first got into Domo. So like if you wanted to see, drill down on information about people who had fills for specialty medication, you can come down here to this next set of tabs and see, oh, there were 5 claimants that had specialty medications. You can see all the way down to the claim line level, the row level of the data and all the different metrics about that. You can see which type of drugs. And so that's kind of a way of getting around maybe not having data modeling, but being able to drill through different dimensions and through different subsets of things.
See, I told you, he's the smartest guy at our company. Thanks for playing along. Appreciate it. Anybody else thinking about using App Studio and you're like, oh, here we go. I like it.
How are you locking it down? Customers.
Yes. So if you go to navmd.com and then you click on login, it's the application. They log in using two-factor authentication in Okta. But it's the web app we built that gets us into the app embedded, App Studio embedded, and Domo everything embedded.
So we have the web application and we have an Azure SQL server that we have the relational data for like this company belongs to this broker, this user is assigned to this broker. And then we also use the Domo API. Our web development team uses the API to dynamically generate PDP policies. So if I go over here to our admin tab and like let's say I bring myself up, I can come here and switch to demo. And so I'll have demo company here. And so demo company has a broker ID, and then we can select which companies I get to see. And when I hit this apply, the Domo API will generate PDP policies at the row level for the different data sets, global data sets that we distribute to each of our subscriber instances. And then additionally on like analytics with the embed, we're passing that in as a server-side filter, those same user assignments to be able to see or select from the list of companies that you can filter for.
Does that answer your question? Oh, please go ahead. This is great.
We just got to get you.
Oh, okay. We're in a unique situation because our customers don't have logins to our website, right? So to your point, I was wondering if there's a way, hey, enter your email. Could it recognize the, at insert company name or something like that to where someone could still access it without, and only see their information? If you don't know, you don't know. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. Like, we use Okta for authentication into the platform, but that's what our web developers have set up that admin interface to say, we have a list of clients, and then we can assign that user ID or that user email to a broker, and then that is the broker subscriber instance that they get pointed to.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say that's.
Yeah, Mike may be able to help answer that question more specifically.
You're just bypassing the first part of what they're doing with Okta, with the single sign-on. But what you can do is use that mechanism, because that's what's happening after that step, is knowing who it is coming in and then creating the set of filters for that user. So you would just have more of a generic way of doing it. Security-wise, though, if I knew your email, I would just use your email. So that's not recommended, but yeah. But the short answer is yes. Yeah.
All right, I think we had a question right here and then over there.
So are you stating that
Hold on one second. Hang tight. You got to get this mic up here. I'm giving you a workout.
Thank you. So is your data residing in Azure SQL and you're pulling it right into the Domo App Studio, or importing the data into Domo first
We're importing the data, so we actually get data in flat files from insurance carriers and third-party administrators on a monthly basis, and we have a set of local ETL tools that load it into our on-prem servers. And so we have on-prem servers and virtual machines that we do all of the mapping, ETL, loaded into a data warehouse database, and then we use Domo Workbench to set up Workbench jobs to read data from different tables in our data warehouse on a separate server.
Thank you.
Can you believe that? That we actually get flat files? Like, isn't that the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard? Calvin, you can relate, like, in the healthcare world, they make it as hard as possible for you to get access to data. Yeah, oh yeah, all kinds of formats, and they may forget a field here and there, and may give you the wrong date range. I mean, it's, yeah, don't get me started. All right, so we got another question back here.
Yeah, first, this is amazing, guys. This looks amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. One question, you mentioned instances. So do you have one instance or you publish two different child instances?
Yeah, we have one publisher instance that's our main instance. We also do some internal things from there, for kind of running our business, small scale stuff. And then we set up a subscriber instance per broker client. So for every new broker ID, we will set up a separate subscriber instance and basically publish all of the same content to it. But we'll have PDP filters on the data sets in the publication itself with that, and we'll filter at the row level for that broker ID to send that set of data, that subset of data down to, and it's a federated data set. So it's really, it's only physically hosted in our main instance.
In your main
one,
instance?
yeah, so in terms of materialized row credits, it's only in one place going against our main instance. So we're not doubling data. We have all of our rows here, and then all of our rows again summed up between our subscriber instances.
How many instances do you guys?
35?
Here's the
Wow.
cool part. So Jordan just showed up. Jordan's the guy that helped me solve my problems. Like, he was amazing. So, so the cool thing about it is, like, I can't remember what it's exactly called, but the instance, because we have a broker, they have one instance, but they may have multiple users in that instance, and you can have 100 like sub-users under that instance. And I'm using the wrong terminology. I'm sure Jordan could probably correct me, but that was what the other thing that was really cool about partnering with Domo is, we have kind of a unique setup, and I can't afford to have a new instance for hundreds and hundreds of users.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to kind of rap about on the App Studio piece before we shift over to AI? All right. So how many of you have attended Domopalooza last year? Yeah, it was pretty awesome, wasn't it? Like Allie K. Miller, I dream about her. Like, she was amazing, absolutely amazing. The thing that she talked about was how quickly AI is moving. She gave the example, and I might butcher this a little bit, but it took 9 years to get 100 million users on the internet. How many months did it take to get 100 million users on ChatGPT? 2. 9 years versus 2. That shows you how quickly things are moving. The other thing that stood out, and I walked away inspired, but I also walked away with a sense of urgency, was she said in 10 years, there's going to be 2 types of companies. Those that have embraced AI and those that are out of business. And I was like, shit, Ryan, we're not going to be the ones that are out of business. So we gotta embrace AI. And so we are at the, I would call it the 5-yard line with getting AI across the finish line. There's a couple things we need to get rocking. And one, you see the little purple chatbot down there? That does not go well with our color coordination here. So we need it to be red, and we need it to be branded, and it can't say powered by Domo. It has to say powered by NavMD Insights. And they're at the 5-yard line or maybe even closer on that now. It's coming. Yeah. That's what I hear. Derek. All right. So here's the deal. We're committed to making this shift from building visualizations to using AI to have chats with conversations. I mean, if you just think about it, like when you build a visualization, over time it just dies. Like eventually you either got to refresh it or things change. With AI, it kind of makes things a whole lot more streamlined, and it'll save Ryan and team a tremendous amount of time and efficiency. So we're shifting to being an AI first company. So is there anybody using the AI chat functionality in Domo today to have conversations with the data? Are you? Yeah, how are you using it? What's that?
Trying to use.
Trying, yes.
Trying to
We're trying
it's a
to.
little,
Yes.
it's a little difficult
We're trying.
to put
Yeah.
it's a little difficult to put the data together in a way that it actually helps the chat.
Can you tell me a little bit about your business and you won an award today? Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are a CPA and advisory company, so we consultants.
Yeah, and so do you use it externally or do you use it internally?
We use it internally and externally. Internally to make questions about, like, I don't know, who's the person most utilized in my department, or who are the top 10 clients, like things like that.
And have you turned on the chatbot inside your environment?
In one app is the one that we are working. We turn it off in all the dashboards because we found we have a lot of data sets. And if we needed to go and create the data dictionary for all of them, it was a little
Yeah, we have the same problem. We have a lot of data sets because since you can't really, we have a lot of different data as well. We have risk data, we have utilization data, we have the regular claims data, and so then getting all of that to tie together, they need to be separate data sets, so we have the exact same problem.
Same name columns.
Yeah, renaming columns, adding in beast modes and such. So the AI readiness does really help with that, but there's room for improvement on that feature from Domo.
Yeah, we're at that stage too. Where we're starting to prepare for that, and would love some insight either from you or for you. Like, what's the process? Is there some sort of checklist or anything that we should go through, or because that's going to be the hardest part.
Domo data readiness tool.
Okay.
And it's you just ask somebody that you work with at Domo, and they'll make sure they get that for you.
Okay,
it's
that's
really
good to know.
helpful for us, and we're not there yet. So, like, we're all trying to get there, it seems, and I hope the one thing you get out of this is we're all in this journey together, and I hope you just reach out to Ryan and say, hey, how do you do this? Or how do you do that? And hopefully he'll do the same to you, and together we can kind of make an impact.
And then real quick, Ryan, like from a timeline perspective on that, how long has it taken you to get through that Domo readiness? We're just trying to plan, like, how long is this journey going to take us, and what,
Yeah, I would say it will probably take a while. In our case, we deal with a lot of really complex data. Our clients do, relative to the way the data schema is set up, complex calculations. For example, for the entire company for a time period, they want to do a per employee per month cost. So it'd be the sum of plan paid for all of the claims divided by the number of member months, which is the sum of the monthly enrollment totals for each month. Doing that in one table is a bit difficult. We can do that in a formula with the way we have the data set set up. I think in certain cases, the chatbot is able to perform that calculation since we have beast mode set up, and you can have that in there. But I started when AI chat and all the AI service layer stuff was in beta at the end of last summer. I started some testing, and I was like, we may need to do a completely separate data set, and we'll just plug and play that one data set, because that's the data set most of our clients use anyway. And we'll just take that. It'll be a little bit cleaner, fewer columns, and it'll be a little bit easier for the AI to read. Well, with the AI readiness, you can turn that all on and off, so that's not necessary per se. But I think it's going to take me some time to sift through, like, do I need to include this column? Is it important? How often are our clients using data from this column in analysis throughout our platform? Where is it? Do we use this column across our platform? And there are a lot of questions of those types that I think it just takes time to test and, come up with good synonyms and good column explanations. And that's something I will plug Nathan and Flo from Domo for all the Domo people in the back. They've helped us a little bit. We did a 1-hour office hour working session with them on some issues we had, and just gathering some general information and kind of filling them in on our use case, so that we could give something to our clients that is usable and relatively accurate.
I feel like we're going to be in a good spot to launch this early Q2. Time flies when you're having fun. We're in wrap up mode here, but here's how we're going to use it. So everybody's familiar with GLP-1s, right? Yeah, those are the weight loss drugs. So health plans are not supposed to pay for weight loss drugs, but they sometimes slip through. So what we're, like the idea here would be to, if we didn't have a visualization built, you could just have a chat with the data. Hey, tell me how much I'm spending on GLP-1s. Tell me what percentage of the GLP-1s are for people that do not have diabetes. And then it would isolate those folks and then give you a list of all the people that don't have diabetes, but the plan is paying for GLP-1s. So that's one example of what we're hoping for. And what was really funny is we were testing this, and Ryan's like, "Hey, it's not working yet," but it worked perfectly in our tests. So I'm going to need to wrap up on this, but I think the key takeaways here are: think beyond today. The right analytics platform has to be scalable, and it has to be cost predictable for the long haul. Secondly, be willing to pivot. If something's not working, don't double down and just keep in the same old misery. Be willing to find a better way. Leverage the Domo ecosystem. Domo's App Studio and automation tools are game changers. And then finally, engage with the community. I met a gal today. She was the top engager in all of the community. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. You should do that. Some of the biggest insights come from events like this and from the community. So here's what I'm going to say. Imagine a world where employees are not going bankrupt because of their health plan, where companies can take control of your costs instead of being controlled by them. How much better would that be? And so my challenge is, let's make that happen. So, why this matters is because employers can no longer ignore this anymore. I mentioned a little bit, there needs to be solutions that comply with the Consolidation Appropriations Act and to eliminate unnecessary risk and costs. And the stakes are high. I mentioned the lawsuits. Some of you are familiar with those lawsuits, but this is not an HR problem. It's a business problem, and it's a fiduciary problem, and a problem that data can solve. So this isn't about tech. It's about impact. And this isn't about dashboards or analytics or AI. It's about changing lives. It's about helping employers take control of their health plan. It's about saving employees from medical debt, and it's about creating a future where healthcare works for people, not against them. Together, we can make that future happen. So here's some free tools. So if you're a business owner, if you're in the C-suite, or you want your C-suite or your business owner to do something great, share this with them. Have them email me or follow the link there. I'll give you a 2025 market assessment. If you go on and do the plan assessment on your health plan, whoever does that, in the C-suite, it'll score your plan, uncover hidden costs. I'll give you early access to my new book called Fiduciary Playbook. And I'll give you a copy of my old book, which is Benefits Revolution, built for your benefits advisor. So closing thoughts. I'm incredibly grateful for the partnership and the fact that I met Jordan and he helped me work through a partnership with Domo that's been absolutely fantastic. And it's been a game changer for NavMD, and I know it can be for you too. If you're exploring analytics solutions, we'd love to connect with you to discuss how we leverage Domo to help you be more successful. And thank you and enjoy the rest of Domopalooza.